Hello folks, hope everybody's doing well. I think this may be the final installment for now anyway, the Q&A. This be number 4?
I think so.
Alrighty, what all we got, Shug?
Alright. We'll start with what is your favorite food dish you have made before? I'm assuming on our
What's for Supper Wednesday?
What's for Supper Wednesday, maybe?
Daniel, really liked his banana pudding, however you want to say it there. Let me take these glasses off. It's probably got a glare on there, I don't know. I really like that hamburger steak we fixed that time with gravy. Actually, I've liked all of their dishes we've done so far.
Yeah.
And like I always said, we'd be honest. If we didn't care for it,
You'd know.
yeah, we'll let you know.
Well, mine probably we've fixed is your pulled pork. Your barbecue pulled pork.
Carolyn likes the pulled. I'm going to be honest. After we started doing the sliced pork, where you don't cook it quite as long,
Well, it's
I
good,
really like that.
I
Good
like
for
the
sandwiches.
pulled pork.
I mean, I like the pulled pork too. I don't know. Have we showed them us actually smoking one? Most of the ones we've done recently.
We've done it in the oven because our smoker was messed up at that time.
Yeah.
But it's really good on the smoker too.
That blue cheese dip.
Blue cheese dip.
I really liked it. That was a copycat recipe from a barbecue place in Joss City, Ridgewood Barbecue. I really liked it.
That was really good. $1 million potato casserole. Really liked that.
Yep.
And Daniel's Snickers pie. I know.
I really liked also there the other day that honey chicken.
That's good.
At the end of this video, we'll leave a playlist of our What's for Supper Wednesdays. At the end of it, you can click on there.
Now, my favorite dish that we haven't made is beans and cornbread.
We'll have to do that for you one day. Of course, biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
We'll be doing another video of that coming up here soon. That's good for breakfast, supper, lunch, anytime. We made that pie. I'll go with the again. It wasn't real long ago we made that sausage and gravy pie. Is all right. We figured out it had a maple taste to it, and
we thought it was
we couldn't figure out. I mean, it was good because honestly, I used to, when I was little, I used to take maple syrup and put on sausage.
I'm not big on that.
But it had a maple flavor taste to it, and we couldn't figure out. And I had bought the off-brand of Baker's Joy to keep it from sticking. And apparently, every time we go, there'll be flies set in. Today is a cooler, rainy day, and I guess us going in and out, the flies has come in. But yeah, sausage and gravy. And I like to take waffles or pancakes and put sausage on there, and our scrambled sausage that we can up. Put that on there with syrup and.
Yeah, I'm not a big.
I'm getting hungry.
Syrup and.
I'm going to have to. I know you all have noticed. I've really noticed, especially going back and watching our videos. It's time I get with it and get back on a diet. Not a seafood diet. I need to get on a diet. It's a little bit harder.
I've always need to get on a diet.
It's a little harder now that I've gotten a little bit older. Used to, I could drop weight quick. Anymore, it's harder.
I've always had trouble.
I'll probably go back on a low carb diet. That would help my sugar and everything out anyway. Need to slim down before fall and winter comes and the cookies and everything start again. We'll get into that discussion a little bit later on, the sweets. But
no, my all-time favorite is pinto beans and cornbread with butter and onions, and that's all.
We'll have to get that made.
I grew up on that, so.
I hear little Dixie down there.
Yeah, crunching her. She has to bring her a snack with her.
Alrighty.
Okay. What are you going to do now since you lost your job?
Well, that is really still up in the air. To be honest, I would love to be able to stay home and on the farm. Now, as late as we're getting to in the summer and everything here now, for a while, of course you all know, and this here ties into one of the next questions coming up, I might start cutting more trees up and hauling to the sawmill, get some money from that, just to keep things going. And you can't never tell, I might have to get a job, probably will, before like fall and winter. But I'm going to be honest, what I would really love to do is, I think we touched on this in one of the other, I would love to get a greenhouse set up and just go back to working on the farm.
Yeah.
Still would like to get some bottle calves to raise. They've went sky high on price. But cattle has went crazy on price also. And so, right now it's tough to find any that's decent, at a reasonable price. But I'd like to get back into that. Grandpa used to have cattle, hogs, chickens, and I would really like to get back into that. And we love gardening. Years ago, back when it was me and my dad with the backhoe, that's also a possibility. I may go back to hauling rock and stuff like that there, doing odd jobs. But
25 years in a factory, it kind of, you want to...
Yeah, I
don't really want
to go back to a factory. I may wind up to it there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough out there right now finding a job in a factory that's close to us. I'm sure I could drive hour and a half on some crooked roads and maybe find a job over in another, either North Carolina or Virginia. But that is our goal. I can't say plan.
Yeah.
We've really been looking into the greenhouses, and once again, I think it was in the last video, come on fly, I'll get you. I think it was in the last video I talked about garden stand. I would like to be able to get it, sell our eggs, and right on the camera, walk across you folks. I swear it's the devil at work. But no, that's really still up in the air right now. We'll keep you posted what I got to do. But like I said, here we are already halfway through June. It's a little bit late to be thinking about that there now. I thought about cutting back on the goats, which we wouldn't need as much hay ground, and plow some more up for more vegetables. Don't get me wrong, gardening and farming is hard work, but it's something that I enjoy. I think Carolyn enjoys.
I grew up with it. We both grew up with
Well,
you had one.
But that there, like I said, that's up in the air still. I'm really not worried right now. But, and as far as, I think the next question is going to be the trees. We have still got oodles of trees down.
Yeah. How is the tree cutting coming along from your cleanup from the storms?
Slow. Because they're all up in a laurel thicket and everything.
And ever since then, any kind of storm we have, more comes down.
We have had several windstorms come through.
And you can see it everywhere.
And it's just about every windstorm. Folks, I'm going to stop you just a second and get that fly off you all. And, I mean, it's like ever since that hurricane.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's weakened the ground up. They'll uproot and fall down across another one. It's just like dominoes. And
we did have an earthquake too. So.
Yeah, we had an earthquake. I mean, it's been one thing after another.
Not,
I mean, it wasn't
a big earthquake or anything. But.
I'm sorry, folks. We went all day long, hadn't seen flies. We sit down in here and start to film. But, there goes the camera. But anyway, working on it. And when I said there about selling some timber, there's a bunch of trees that's still up that's not been affected by the storm. They need, that land up there, it needs to have a bunch of trees cut anyway. And so it would be fresh trees, be a cutting to haul for logs. And firewood. Lord have mercy. We've got enough wood up in there. I just got to get it all drug out and split up.
Yeah.
Because, like we was just saying, it's middle of June.
Yeah.
Need to be getting that put in the barn, letting it start to cure out for coming up.
Yeah.
And I had a lady today comment, asked about putting goats with cattle. Now, my personal opinion, and if you're listening to this, I think it would be great. As long as you got good fence.
Yeah.
Goats are escape artists.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be talking in a few videos coming up about goats. I'm going to start talking a little bit more about goats. And, I mean, we've showed you our goats and everything. We've had goats now for, my gracious, 20-some years. Going on 30, I guess.
Over 30, because before I was even here.
Yeah.
It was over 30 years.
But I don't know a whole lot. Me and Dan, we went to the master meat goat class and took that and graduated from that. But start trying to help some people out that's out there wanting to get into goats. Give them some tips and everything like that there. And try to help them out with chickens. Anything. Folks, if you got any kind of questions, feel free to ask us. I mean, we will do our best to help you. We'll never do anything to try to steer you wrong or anything like that there. But getting back to the goats and the cattle. My personal feelings are, I think it would be a great combo as long as you got good fence and plenty of land, because the cows are wanting the grass.
Yep.
The goats, they prefer browse, bushes, rough stuff. Now goats will eat grass, but goats was made basically to eat from the chest up. you take a goat and turn it out here into the field, or everyone we've ever had and seen, hold still, shug. Everyone that we've ever seen and all the research, and then even in the classes, if you had old rose bush over here, thorny bush, and over here's alfalfa, they will go to that rose bush first.
Yep.
That's like of a fall. We'll try to get some footage of that this fall. When the leaves start falling off the trees, the goats walk through the woods. It's just like they're waiting for one sometimes to try to catch it in there. And goats, each one of them will have their own personality.
Yeah.
And we went into a little bit there, pecking order and stuff. We had got rid of them 2 big nannies that was bullies up there.
Yeah.
Well, you can see they're gone.
Somebody else is gone.
They took their place. I mean, they've not been as bad or anything. Because that one, I mean, I pretty well know that one crippled that little baby that we had up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see it happen, but just seeing her in there feeding and everything, she's the number 1 suspect.
Yeah.
And like when the one nanny start to get older, they start to get a little bit more feebler, they'll root them out. There's no helping hands up there. But anyway, Willow, if you're watching, I think it would be great. My personal opinion. I'll do a little bit of research on it just to make sure. But I had always thought, now back when Grandpa had cattle, it was just 4 strands of 4 strands of barbed wire. Didn't have no wove fence wire or anything. If it did, it was old as the hills, brittle. Goats would have just walked up to that and walked through it. But if you've got good fence, now when we first got started with goats, that was back when we was doing backhoe work. We did work for a man, and part of the payment was he didn't have the money, and he offered some goats as trade for part of the work. And that's where our first goats started. And at that time, we just had electric fence wire. 3 strands, I think it was. It may have been 4 strands of electric fence wire. As long as the goats had plenty to eat, we didn't really have to worry about them. And most of the time, you will have some that are better escape artists than the others. And if one did get out, they didn't go too far from the herd. They stayed pretty close. But what we would do as we would sell goats, we just took all that money. Wasn't a whole lot of money. Goats has come, depends on the time of the year.
Yeah.
We would take what money we got and put in wove fence wire.
Yeah.
And we finally got the whole place encircled with wove fence wire. Then you would come along with the problem. Some of them will stick their head through the fence.
They can get it in, but
now some of the older nannies,
yeah,
they can get their head in and they'll twist and pull themselves back out. No trouble. So later on, we started replacing some of that wire with the smaller whole wire, the sheep and goat fence. Well, little babies, they will have the tendency, they've got plenty of grass over here, they see the fence, you always heard grass is greener on the other side, well that's what they think. They'll stick their little head through. But what's them little fellers got? They've got little buttons on their head. a lot of people, especially on the road, they're doing it on purpose.
Yep.
They will come through, rev their motor up, or blow the horn.
Yeah.
And first thing they do, they jerk their head up and come back. Well, what's there? Them two little buttons hooking on the fence.
Yeah.
And then once they get startled like that there, they don't know what to do. So they'll stay hung up there. Several times a day, we do fence checks to make sure there ain't no goat hung up in the fence.
Count the goats in the evening.
And then you've got Carolyn's bottle baby up there, Beauty. She can be out, not hear us, and you look up there. She's not hung up. If we go out to the garden, or she sees us, or hears us coming up,
she'll walk over to the fence.
Her head gets stuck in the fence. I'm stuck.
And part of the time she could get herself out.
She can get herself out every time. She's just
wanting you there to
physical contact, I guess, is what she's wanting there.
Yep.
But no, like I said, that's my personal opinion. I think they would work great as companions because you've got the cattle eating the grass, and especially if you've got thickets or something, I think you said there about some thorny bushes, the goats would look after that stuff. And then once they did get that took care of, they'll probably start eating grass then. But for the time period, they'll be eating the brushy stuff first. Does that wrap it up?
No,
we got some more?
Let's see. Besides working at the plant and having your own business, did you have any other jobs? Same for Carolyn.
When I lived in Maryland, when I was going to school, I worked for my uncle. He owned his own business. Dixie, honey, it's okay. He had his own business. Dixie.
There was a car going by, revved up.
Shh. And when I was in school, I'd go to school during the day, and then when I got out, I went to work with him there and had me do different odd jobs and stuff. And that's where I learned how to drive a stick shift. He had it was a little Mazda pickup truck, 5-speed. It had a little diesel engine in it. Why they quit making that truck, I don't know. That diesel engine, at that time, Joe said he could drive from Maryland down to here, drive around down here, and drive back up and still have a little bit of fuel left in it. I mean, that thing got great fuel mileage. But it is a neat little truck. I mean, it was beat all to pieces, but it run good and all. And I can't remember where exactly. It was down towards Washington is where it was going. It was a 5-speed, and I had never drove a stick shift. And I told him that afternoon, he wanted me to take that down there. I said, I ain't never drove a stick. He said, you'll know how to drive it by the time you get back. Sure enough, I did. And then that was my favorite truck to drive around there for him, for a while there. And then once I graduated, I went to work for line construction. We did traffic lights, traffic signals. And there towards the end, what my job was, I ran the crane, and I enjoyed that job, but it was just the location. I think I've told you this before. I miss Pizza John's pizza from up there, and the seafood. than going fishing up there. I never was big on big crowds, and there's big crowds up there, and I can only imagine what it looks like now.
Yeah.
But that was my previous, and then like I said, Grandpa got sick, and I seen my opportunity to come down here and come down and start helping on the farm. But at that time, later on, Mom and Pop moved down here, and then that's when me and Dad started the backhoe. Pop had run the backhoe for 30 some years.
Oh, you worked at Timberland too.
Oh yeah, forgot. I worked in another factory, folks. Timberland Shoes. They closed down, moved everything to the Dominican Republic, and that was 700 and some people lost their jobs there. I worked there for a little while, but so I don't know. How about you?
Well, before the deli,
The deli you worked in there.
That I worked in. I worked when I was 16, 17. Worked for a couple, 3 years at Days Inn in housekeeping over in Blowing Rock, North Carolina there. But and then I got the job at the deli and worked there for 5-6 years, I think, and they closed down, and I was pregnant with Daniel at the time. No, I just had him when they closed it, and Doug wanted me to stay home with him, and I've been home ever since. Well, I do. I got a lot of work to do here too, but let's see. Do you have any more? Let's see. Like to hear some more stories about your mom and dad, and would they get on camera?
No, I doubt if Mom and Pop, they don't really think much of the camera or anything there.
Yeah.
My mom, she is basically going blind.
Mm-hmm.
And she had the wet AMD there for several years, 4 or 5 years, I guess now.
Yeah.
And every few weeks we would take her and get a shot in the eye. Well, they got that part stabilized, but then the retina, both retinas, started thinning out, and they basically said there's nothing they could do about that there.
Yeah.
Pop, he is deaf.
Yeah.
He lost his hearing overnight. I was working at the plant then, and that morning, well, the evening before, I was talking to him just like I'm talking to you guys, and come home next morning, he lost his hearing overnight.
Yeah.
They did all kinds of tests, for tumors and different things there.
Stroke. That stuff.
But nothing, don't know. But yeah.
Favorite memories of both their childhoods. I grew up in Trade, Tennessee. It's basically same county, just right outside of Mountain City. And we lived way back in the holler. And I lived, my granny was above us. I had an uncle above us. Had cousins on the other side. We were just kind of like a little family knit there. And I guess just the memory, we just go out and play. That's all we had, hills and places to play and go in the woods, and it was bike riding. We had right above us was it's an old railroad, There's no more tracks there or anything, but there's a pathway that goes way back in the woods. And we used to ride our bikes through there and
wonder a bear
walk.
didn't get you.
It's a wonder. There's been bears up there, but at one time we never saw it when we was walking or going around through there, but there has been some that's come down to the house and all, and my uncle's, he lives right there at the railroad, so they've seen bears. But just, what about you?
I really liked to used to go when we'd go fishing and crabbing. That was really, I really enjoyed that there. And now there for a while, I'll be honest, I was afraid to get on the boat for a little while. Kind of messes you up when you're young like that there and you see the movie Jaws. But anyway, used to really look forward to coming down here. And like I said, Pop would save his vacation time up, and then some days he'd get off, like say on a Friday, we'd jump in the truck there and he'd drive down here. It's like an 8-hour drive, and get here like of a morning, and then we turn around and leave, like early on a Sunday, so we'd be here for a little bit. But no, I mean, we'll come back to that question later on.
Yeah, I've got a one or two stories.
Go ahead.
One time, me and my sister was riding bikes, and she wrecked in front of me, and she went on the ground. Well, I couldn't get stopped in time, so I actually ran over her head. Didn't hurt her, but no, I remember that. And I was a lot less skinny then, so it didn't hurt her. And there was another one, but and our other one, or the other one, my dad, he got me and my sister, and he used to fix up old, broken down lawnmowers, stuff like that for people. But he got us as a little riding lawnmowers, and we painted them up our favorite color and everything. And he took the mowing deck off, so it was basically like a, what would you call it? 3-wheeler, 4-wheeler? No,
4-wheeler. 4-wheeler. You just had your go-kart.
And we had this long, big hill, and we rode them down through there. And my brother, he had one too, I think. He was a little bit younger than us, but somehow though, my sister's, she flipped it. Somehow, I mean, it was going down, flipping all the way down the hill, and she was still standing up top, just looking at it like, but somehow she got off of it. I don't know how she did before it started flipping. And needless to say, we wasn't allowed to ride on that hill no more. And I mean, probably what's wrong with my legs and all that. Nowadays, we had this one bike, and it didn't have no brakes or nothing. And we would start at the top of that hill and ride the bike down, and at the bottom, we was like Fred Flintstone, put our feet down. And we were barefooted. We run barefooted all the time, so that's probably what's wrong with a lot of my problems with my feet and legs. Oh, goodness. Let's see.
But no, we'll come back to that there. with some different stories.
Yeah.
I can remember years ago, we went to Chicotee, Virginia for the weekend. We'd rented a boat and we was out there, and they had been catching sand sharks. Well, Pop all of a sudden there, his pole, it went over. And Pop's there cranking on it, and then all of a sudden it lines start going out. Way down through there, you could see there's another man in a boat. When Pop would rear back on his fishing pole, it's a great old big bay fishing pole there, heavy duty. When Pop would rear back, you would see that man go forward. Well, get to watching, that man would rear back and start reeling. The lines start going out on Pop's pole. And finally we figured out their lines had got crossed somehow out through there. But no, we'll that'll be another video. Anything else,
I
Shib?
think that's it.
But no.
Hopefully we got all your questions.
If we didn't, put them back in the comment there. And there was some people had said there about would like to first start doing some videos there, just talking with y'all and everything. That's fine with us. Be just like sitting there. One day we may actually try live. I don't know. I'm up for it. You up for it?
Yeah, I guess so.
If we can figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
But folks, thank you for watching us. Thank you for subscribing to us.
Yep.
It really helps the channel grow. It's free, and we just appreciate each and every one of you.
We do.
And we hope you all stay safe. Lord willing, be seeing you Wednesday. It's going to be a quick, easy one this coming Wednesday. We done made it. It's good. So stay tuned for that there. I hope you guys have a blessed week. Stay safe. Lord willing, be seeing you Wednesday. Thank you, guys. You're awesome.
Down on the farm where the green grass grows, we're thankful for the love that everybody knows. It's another day under the white blue sky, with the sun shining bright and the time drifting by. Home and Homestead where the story unfolds, our hearts full of laughter and our memories go. Oh, thank you for watching from near and far. Your support, it brightens just like a star. Don't forget to subscribe, it's always free. Join our journey, come share the glee.